Hey guys, Tiffany Ofili Porter here, where I discuss all things life after sport. As you can see, I have a special guest. My husband, Jeffrey Porter, is here, and we are going to be discussing the 6 things that we would like to tell our younger selves when we first got married.
All right, let's go.
So for a little bit of a backstory, for those of you who are new here, and if you are new here, hey, go and check out some of our previous relationship videos. But we have been married for 13 years, together for 19. We are college sweethearts. We met on the University of Michigan track team in 2005, have been married all these years. We have 2 beautiful children together. And I would say that we're probably a little bit seasoned in the game. So we feel like we have a little bit of skin on our, on our chest, know what they say? Skin in the game? Skin in the game. We have some skin in the game to be able to give a little bit of advice and things that we think would have been just useful to really emphasize back when we first got married. So if that sounds interesting, make sure you keep on watching this video. Number 1, pick and choose your battles. Now, I know it might sound cliche because I feel like everybody kind of talks about that and they mention it and they give that advice to people. But I do think that that is number 1 on our list for a reason. It is so important to know your partner, know yourself, and know what fights are just not worth fighting. What do you think about that?
I mean, listen, there's classic examples of, hey, if the guy leaves the toilet seat up, you know, is that going to be an issue in your house, right? Do you do things differently than I do them? Like I fold towels a different way, so do you, right? You like washing dishes by hand. We have a dishwasher for that. So you got to figure out, you know, you don't like shoes in the house, which is fine, but then I don't have a place to put my shoes, right? So which battles are really worth fighting? That's part of the understanding of being married. It's understanding what's worth it, what's worth to communicate, and what's some. I mean, everybody's gonna have their own nuances, their own things that people get annoyed with, and so it just is what it is. And so is that we're fighting? Not really. And just understand that's who they are. Move on.
I do think it is important to point out, though, that there are some things that are worth fighting, though. Like I don't think that you need to be in a marriage where you're just letting everything kind of, you know, roll off and not address it head on, because I do think that can lead to resentment.
Well, there's one of these that will come down the road that will kind of teeter on that conversation. Yeah,
so more on that later. But when we say pick and choose our battles, definitely use that discernment to know what things are worth bringing up and what things are just worth saying, it's all good. Keep it moving and just look at the positives from your partner when you might feel like there are a lot of negatives glaring in your face. And sometimes having that shift of perspective can help with this tip. So for example, if my husband, you know, washes the sink a little bit differently than I do, you know, after dinner, maybe not as thorough as I would like, instead of me focusing on that, I could just say, you know what, I'm grateful that he is being intentional about washing up after himself. Even if it means after the dishes dry, I might need to give the sink a scrub down. It still is easier than if I just were to have done it all by myself in the first place. So that might sound like something trivial, but when you just have that perspective shift that, you know what, there is something positive that can come out of that, I think it would just help you look at it from a more holistic perspective.
I agree. Number 2 is, so never stop dating your spouse. One of the things I'm really focused on for, especially holidays, and I'm really good about this for holidays, not necessarily great about this on non-holidays, but birthdays, Christmas, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, special events, I really try to plan those things out in advance, because obviously everyone's thinking about, you know, those holidays and restaurants get booked. So I always try to find those moments in which we can get a reservation, we can do something nice, we can do something different, we can have a little bit of fun and enjoy each other's company. And that's something that I, as a older married person, would tell my younger self, is to keep finding those things. Well, you know, back in 2008, 2009, we did go to Disney World, which was fun.
That was fun.
But I think what we try to do now is not have to go to Disney World every time, but we try to do something that's really cool. So we find those opportunities to continue to date each other and enjoy the experience of going out somewhere and trying something different, especially in all the cities we've been. So yes, never stop dating your spouse would be my recommendation.
Yes, and with that, I do think it's really important to kind of highlight one thing that you said, that not every date night needs to be Disney World. I think that is actually a misconception that sometimes newer couples that kind of get sucked into that social media couple goals situation think that every single time you go out, it has to be this big, grand extravaganza for it to be considered worthy. And that is so not true. Sometimes one of my favorite date nights that we've done kind of recently is after the kids are upstairs napping or sleeping for the night, we go down in the basement in our movie room, we pop some popcorn, cuddle up and watch a movie together.
Yep, and then you go to sleep.
And sometimes I fall asleep because I be tired. But the point is that intimacy was free 99. We did not need to spend a whole lot of money for us to connect and just really enjoy each other's company in that way. So definitely want to mention that while you're dating your spouse, it's okay to get creative for dates that might not necessarily be super extravagant, but can still be incredibly impactful. Number 3. This one I think has been a lesson that I probably am still continuously working on if I'm keeping it real with you. And that would be to listen more than you speak. Now, he's laughing because I do like to talk, and I do like to make sure that my point is highlighted to my partner or to my friends or colleagues or whatever. But I do think that there is an art in being an active listener. Truly active in the sense that you're listening to understand, not listening to respond, and truly like reading the room and sometimes picking up on those implicit conversations or like his body language. I know my husband so well that I can tell when his energy is off. I can read between the lines and know when he is in a mood. And you don't get in moods?
Nope. I don't get in moods.
And all of the above. So sometimes that active listening is also just kind of learning your partner, learning yourself, knowing your own triggers. So if there's something that, I might be in a very bad mood this day and Jeff is, talking to me the way he normally talks to me, I might be a little bit more agitated and I might not necessarily respond the best. So in moments like that, I have to be even extra intentional about just listening more, kind of just like guarding my tongue. That is actually biblical, to guard your tongue, because death and life lie within the power of the tongue. And without getting up here and preaching, I just do think that there is an art in being able to do that. But yeah, just being able to listen and to really truly understand, I think will be so useful, not only as a young married couple, but also as a colleague, as a friend, as a sister, just in every single aspect of your life, but particularly in a marriage.
Well, part of that is to understand the person you're talking to's communication style. Tiffany loves details. I try to get to the point.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. And she wants to know what time of day it was, what was going on, what did you eat, what was the weather, what did you do that day? Like, I don't care about none of that. I just need to get to the point. And so understanding that has been a thing, but also understanding asking intentional questions, right? Asking questions, that's more of the active listening part. And so that you have a better understanding of what your partner's trying to say. That's even something that can be utilized for work. Not coming to a preconceived notion, but more or less asking those questions. Now, with her, I can probably get to the answers to those questions pretty quickly, but I'm just trying to get to the point. That's kind of my communication style, which I'm really working on.
Yeah, for sure.
You talked about this one on number 1, you alluded to this one, but you can't change your partner, but you can change how you respond. This is something that I will tell you I'm still working on, is that Tiffany's going to be who she's going to be. And she's going to like what she's going to like, and she's going to do what she's going to do. I can't change her, but I can change how I respond to it. And sometimes I'm not in the best mood to respond to her in an appropriate way. Like when she wants to do something, I don't want to do it. And so that's kind of the understanding of the relationship, how your relationship changes and grows. But I can change how I respond to it, right? And so if somebody brings you energy, and actually Tiffany did a really good job of this recently, right? She can't change like me as a person, but she changed how she responded to something, which automatically diffused the entire situation. So, which was credit to your part. But and this is why I'm looking at work. Like, I don't have to match your energy. That's the key thing. So there's a conversation between a thermostat and a thermometer.
Go ahead and elaborate on that, please.
The thermometer measures the temperature. The thermostat sets the temperature. So here's, if we can set as a married couple, set the temperature in the room, we can change it. We can adjust it how we want to, but the thermometer is the only thing that just measures the temperature, right? You don't have to go in there and be what I am. You can change it and adjust it. So
So with that analogy, I'd be interested. So are there times when it's more appropriate to be a thermostat and times when it's more appropriate to be a thermometer?
We have the opportunity to do that, right? You can, if you get into a hostile situation, the situation could be hostile, but how you respond to it is going to be the key thing, right? We tell people all the time, like, we tell the kids, right? Somebody hits you, how do you respond to that, right? And if you play sports, it's the referee never sees the first thing that happened; they will see the second thing that happened. So the second thing is usually the penalty. That's how you how do you navigate those responses? That's the key thing. You cannot control your situation, but you can control how you respond to it.
Okay, so in other words, it's more appropriate as a seasoned husband, you're saying to these young husbands out there to be a thermometer more so than a thermostat.
No, be a thermostat so you can adjust the temperature.
Okay, see, I'm learning. I've never even heard of this analogy, but it actually makes sense that you really cannot control your outside surroundings, but you can control yourself. You can control, what you're going to do when life throws you those lemons. You're going to make lemonade or you're going to go over there and be sour. So I definitely do think that is very useful.
Let's think about it. If somebody does something to annoy you, maybe you can find the humor in it and then laugh at it, because now all of a sudden that annoyance is humorous.
Yeah. And sometimes it even kind of disarms the person a little bit, where it can take their temperature down and just calm them down and kind of just meet them where they are. Because at the end of the day, we all got our ish going on. There are days when Tiffany is not in the mood. There are days when Jeffrey's not in the mood. There are days when we're both super happy and we're both, on 10 and in a great mood, and everywhere in between. And just kind of being able to give that person grace and give yourself grace within that as well, I think is so useful. Not even as a married couple for 13 years, but even when you're 13 days in. Mm-hmm. Number 5, do not forget to show appreciation. Now, I think at this point in 2024, most of us are familiar with the 5 love languages, right? You kind of know how you...
Yeah, I remember that. College.
Do you remember the 5? You don't remember the 5 love languages? No. Do you even listen to podcasts on YouTube? That's all people talk about these days.
I listen to financial podcasts.
Should we talk? You want to go over the 5 love languages? We're going to have a conversation tonight as pillow talk, because how can you forget them? But the point I'm trying to make with the 5 love languages conversation is the way that Tiffany receives love and gives love might be very different than how my husband... Oh,
it is very different. And as a matter of fact, we got to adjust one to include the new technology that is incorporated in our life. There you go.
There ain't no love language about technology.
It's new appreciation. There you go.
I don't know what this man is talking about, y'all, but the point I'm trying to make is you have to show appreciation. And the way that Jeff would receive that appreciation and receive that love might be different than what I might resonate with. For example, my husband, even though sometimes he might not necessarily agree, he's very big on words of affirmation. And that's not... You don't,
keep going.
You don't agree?
Keep going.
Boy, I have known you for 19 years.
You're still young, so...
I know my husband, you guys. He is big on words of affirmation. So when I am going to show him love or show him appreciation or show him that I really saw that one thing that he did, I'm going to make sure that I'm using my words and I'm being descriptive and kind of meeting him in that place. Versus me, for example, my love language, I love all of them. Because, acts of service, physical touch, all the stuff. But number 1 on my list is quality time. So Jeff knows that. He likes to do work after work sometimes on his computer. But I'm like, Jeff, come upstairs, come in our living room and our bedroom up there. And even though we're not sitting there doing the same thing, you being in my presence really does mean a lot to me. And I think now, 19 years later, he has a good handle on that. And him doing that is showing his appreciation, showing his love for me in a way that I'm going to receive it in the best way. So I think just being very intentional about learning your partner, knowing their love language. Don't be like my husband and forget what they actually are. Go and study those 5 love languages and then use that as armor. What does that have to do with anything? I got the same amount of kids as you do.
I got kids to feed, so...
Okay, no comment. But you guys use that knowledge as armor to kind of just allow you to be the best spouse that you can be to your partner. Because just because your previous partner may have responded to physical touch really well, your next partner might respond to acts of service. So showing that appreciation, being intentional about learning what it is that's going to really resonate with them is a cheat code. Don't forget it.
Never say invest in your friendship. So one thing that Tiffany and I are really working on, and then she's starting to understand, she's coming over to my side of the way, of the force, really, is when we think through like investing in a friendship, we tried, as we talked about earlier, try to date each other, but we also tried to have fun.
Yeah.
For me, I work a lot. So the thing that we try to figure out is, how do we invest in this friendship? How do we continue to grow this friendship? So we try to find like the stupid little cool, corny things that we try to do. I invited her over to this game in a city not too far away from where we live. It's like an actual physical game. So it was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun.
So now it's like, we don't have to keep doing the same thing. And I have to look at, like, I love going to dinner, but like, let's do something. Let's get out of the norm. Let's invest in our friendship. Let's do things that we like to do. And so if we can, and one thing we like to do is compete. So we like to compete. Let's put ourselves in that frame where we can have that conversation. We can trash talk. We can be absolute friends without having to really go above and beyond. So that my point is, continue to invest in your friendship, find the things that you and your spouse like doing together, like whether it's competitions, whether it's Monopoly. Oh, we gotta get back on Monopoly too. Spades is another one. Yeah, spades. And I just gotta pray that my wife does renege.
Oh my gosh.
Flip over a table.
Have any of you guys ever played spades? Let me know down in the comments if any of my spades aficionados over here.
Like negative Coach Ryder.
Oh my God.
Right. But we always try to find things to invest in our friendship, right? If we go to the mall, we try to do something fun. She knows I really like the Christmas holiday, and so we'll do some, it may seem corny, like going to see Christmas trees or going to see light shows, or the thing we did in Cincinnati was a drive-through light show.
Yeah, they have one here, by the way. Let me tell you about that.
That was a lot of fun for me. So if we continue to do that, we'll continue to grow a relationship.
And I think being open, so he talked about that it was like a massive arcade. And honestly, guys, that would not necessarily have been Tiffany's choice of a date night. But once we got there, I had fun. In fact, I may have had even more fun than you did. It was a great time.
You have to get off the tiles, though. The tile turned red.
It was very active. We left there sweating. It was a workout and a date night at the same time. But the point I'm making is that it was out of kind of my norm, out of my comfort zone, but it was something that he really wanted to try. And I was like, okay, fine, let's just go. And it ended up being an amazing date night. So part of that nurturing your friendship is to just kind of meet your partner where they are. If it's something that they really want to try that might not necessarily be your cup of tea, do it for them, and you might be pleasantly surprised in the end just how fun it is. So
I need to do a better job with you, but the challenge that we have that I really have to work on is we want to do something, like let's say you want to go thrifting. The problem,
to be honest, a thrifting day, like a thrifting challenge, that would be epic.
But here's the thing.
Date night idea.
But here's the thing. We can't be on a time limit. Like, I can't have to be going somewhere. That's the issue.
Last time we went thrifting, it was after hanging out with my friend Betty. By the way, I'm not sure if that vlog is going to drop before this video. He was mad because I took too long, and he ended up like having to he wasn't even rushing. You had extra time.
I did not have extra time. I had just enough time to prepare when I got there.
But you weren't late though. But the point he's trying to make is that we need to kind of just make sure that we plan it in advance, so it's like low pressure and it's fun for the both of us.
If not, the speed limit will turn into a speed suggestion.
But you know what, baby, you definitely did say something on camera that I'm going to pin it here and come back. I do think a fun date now would be like a thrifting challenge where we have
I didn't say that. I said I have to come along to your side.
No.
Understanding that
the same way I was at the big arcade with you was the same way that you need to be.
The thrifting isn't fun for me. Shopping isn't fun for me.
A challenge, a competitive juices, babe, where I have to pick an outfit for you, you have to pick an outfit for me, and then we have to rate each other's outfit from start to finish. That sounds like an amazing day.
That sounds like a horrible idea.
Well, as part of nurturing our friendship, you got to meet me where I'm at, boo. Meet me where I am, right?
Man, I got some other ideas for that, but what? I picked the wrong outfit. I'm like, we about to have a conversation about choose your battle twice.
Choose your battle.
Whatever.
Oh my God.
We get back to square one. Like, I need to listen more than I speak.
No. Listen, 13 years in, 19 years dating, we are still taking our own advice.
You can't change who she is. And her vision.
Jeffrey.
And don't forget to show appreciation.
It's a learning process, even when you are 19 years in the game.
But then all under the guise of investing in your friendship.
Investing in your friendship. Listen, from start to finish.
I just went through all 6.
I really hope you and guys enjoyed these 6 tips. Let me know down in the comments if you think one of them is kind of more important than the other.
Not thrifting with your partner.
different. You come adventure with me. I done said it right here on this channel. Let me know if you want him to come back and we can actually follow up on this thrift challenge for our next date night. I do think that would be a lot of fun.
Negative ghostwriter.
Let me know if you guys enjoy seeing Jeff on these videos.
Listen,
I know that you guys do because he is always a good time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Share this with somebody that you think might enjoy it. Like and subscribe to join the family, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.